Hello, and welcome back to Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer, as always, joined by Ashley Davis and Kurt Bardella. It is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Hope all of you had a very good Labor Day. I can't believe 2/3 of the year is over, but as always, sometimes a month seems like a year when it comes to the Trump administration. I have to say, I was prior to January 20th, as I enjoy doing, I was doing a projection saying, okay, what are the best case scenarios? What are the worst case scenarios? And I have to say, right now, we are at about 90% worst case scenario. So I'd love to hear what you folks think in a moment, but just taking a step back, looking at the foreign policy front, the Alaska summit was a spectacular failure. All it did was give Putin credibility and welcome him back to the world stage. Nothing was achieved. I have to say, I never thought you'd hear these words come out of my mouth, but I actually felt a little sorry for Trump. Because he was so totally played. Putin got him going on the Russia hoax and how rigged the 2020 election was and that how corrupt mail-in voting is and all this stuff. But it reminded me of, the fifth grade kid who's trying to suck up to his idol. It'll do anything or say anything that'll make him like him more. Putin agreed to nothing. In fact, as a total thumb in Trump's eye, he literally doubled the drone attacks after the meeting. So that shows you how effective that meeting was. Gaza is an abysmal failure. It's worse than ever. And the latest was the icing on the cake was you may have seen that summit that Xi Jinping hosted with Putin and now India. So this is the beauty because Trump is so enamored with Putin, he doesn't want to offend Putin. So he's beating up on India with 50% tariffs to get back at Russia, which is driving India into China's arms. Great foreign policy there. On the domestic front, agencies that were supposed to be above partisanship, apolitical agencies, firing the BLS director. The CDC is now in a total state of chaos, obviously attacking the Fed, trying to fire one of the Fed directors for allegations that are not substantiated. She hasn't been charged with anything. When Trump came into office, tariffs were 2.5%. Now they're 18%, which, by the way, is right about where they were during Smoot-Hawley almost 100 years ago. So it's pretty much a bleep show right now. Our people are moving past the U.S. in terms of our allies. Most people, I don't know a single person who thinks they were better off economically today than they were on January 20th. Our foreign policy is in shambles. So tell me, am I right? Am I wrong? Is my doomsday scenario justified? What say you, Ashley?
I'm not ready to be doomsday just because I believe in our country and no matter who's president, and I think that we'll be fine. But I do think in regards to Russia, just as the previous administration has seen too, it's been such a horrible situation and trying to get something done. I mean, obviously I agree with you. Trump thought that, and he said it several times, that he was going to be able to stop this war. Because I do believe, like everybody, him, us, as well as Republicans, Democrats, Europeans, don't want people to stop dying. And so I think what happens if he continues to embarrass him on the world stage is I do think that our secondary sanctions will continue to go in place. I think the Senate and the House will pass an extreme bill in regards to more sanctions as well on Russia. And one of the things that I do agree
Trump
with,
will sign it?
Yeah. No, I don't think that they'll do it unless he gives them the okay. I mean, Lindsey Graham's not going to take it up in the Senate unless Trump says now's the time. But Rubio said this, which I do agree with. As soon as that bill passes or as soon as it's introduced and ready to pass, it does delay things even a year longer. I mean, it gets us even into a bigger fight. I don't know what the answer is because everyone was hoping that this was a move in the right direction. And you're exactly right. Putin has done, exactly what he's always done, which is be untrustful, and he's continued to kill people every day.
And let me remind our viewers that today was the deadline. Remember, if things weren't going to happen
Yeah.
And by the way, Trump said on the going to Air Force One, he said, "Oh, if we don't get a ceasefire, there's going to be severe consequences." And of course, no ceasefire, no severe consequences. We don't need a ceasefire. We just need a peace deal. It's just so weak on every single level. But what are your thoughts, Kurt?
I mean, I think that the meeting of the minds of Putin, Xi Jinping, and Prime Minister Modi, that tells you intuitively that whatever came out of the Trump-Putin meeting and the subsequent meeting that Trump had with Zelensky and European leaders has somehow resulted in Putin feeling emboldened. And it's not an accident that, a week after Trump slaps India with these 50% tariffs, that, the prime minister is palling around with Putin. And all Trump seems to have done is somehow unite the adversaries of the United States of America together I'm imagining they're, plotting and planning against our interests. And basically they're telling Trump, what are you going to do about it? I mean, what are you going to do? You talk big game, but they're calling him out on it here. And unless Trump is willing to instruct the Republican Senate to activate sanctions and to really assert himself, they're just going to continue running roughshod over him. And it's a really bad look for someone who has built his entire political identity on strength and the art of negotiating. They're making him look awfully foolish, and you have to think that somewhere Trump is losing patience with that shit, and
Or
will
he's
at some
seething.
point.
He has to be seething.
Yeah, nothing gets to this guy more than looking foolish or looking like he's been had as a patsy,
Or
and
weak.
or weak, exactly. And unless if he doesn't change tack, you can only draw one of two conclusions. Either one, he is content with looking foolish, and there's got to be a reason for that when it comes to Putin, or two, he is that classic bully that once you stand up to him, he withers, he cowers, he can't handle it, and he backs down, because most bullies themselves are inherently weak. And he's come up against someone in terms of Putin, who is not afraid of anybody, and doesn't have back down in his DNA either. So Trump's best bet has been to try to undermine Zelensky and make it look like it's Zelensky's fault. And again, I think that act has also worn thin, that people just don't have an appetite for that. So Trump's in a bit of a bind right now.
And our allies, as I said, are moving past us. Japan, he's even talking to Russia. I mean, to China. And they are, for foot of mile, that's even less of that's more oil and water historically than Russia and China.